Dear colleagues, now we have a press briefing of Colonel Andriy Lysenko, and he's a spokesman of Ukraine National Security and Defense Council Information Center. And let me remind, if you have any questions to him, you can leave them in the information desk, and he will kindly answer them in the next briefing at 5 p.m. Колеги, зараз ми маємо брифінг полковника Андрія Лисенка, речника інформаційно-аналітичного центру РНБО. Якщо у вас якісь є питання, будь ласка, залишайте їх при реєстрації, на які Андрій Лисенко відповість під час наступного брифінгу.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, is for the quickest beginning of the real peaceful process on the Ukrainian Donbas. Head of the state emphasized his expectation that proposals about the regime of ceasefire will be implemented by all the sides. In particular, according to Mr. Poroshenko, the plan of actions has to include mutual obligations about the regime of a bilateral ceasefire, its monitoring and verification from the side of OSCE, the withdrawal of all foreign troops from the territory of Ukraine, the introduction of a buffer zone on the border, and setting free all the hostages and citizens of Ukraine who are unlawfully held by terrorists and on the territory of Russian Federation. President Poroshenko hopes that such a joint plan can become a basis for the consultation of a trilateral contact group tomorrow in Minsk. The situation in the zone of anti-terrorist operation remains dangerous, threatening. The probability of the activation of military actions of the military units of Russian Federation and bandits is high on the priority directions within the northern districts of Luhansk region and southern districts of Donetsk region. The aim of these actions is to broaden the territories controlled by Russian terrorists. The Ukrainian military are regrouping and are ready to repel another aggression. The shelling of our terror positions is continuing. Over the last 24 hours, Ukrainian armed forces exchanged fire 22 times with Russian units and terrorists in the vicinity of 16 settlements in Donetsk region, Тоненька, Красногорівка, Дебалівцево, Маріїнка, Верхньоторецьке, Нікітіна, Дмитрівка, in Luhansk region, Весела Гора, Городище, Кам'янка, Золоте, Побєдово, Луйська, Плотина, Фащівка, Красноталівка. The cynical firing at our positions and settlements continued from the territory of Russian Federation. And during those 24 hours, they fired in the direction of the village of Stanitsa Luhanska and the city of Luhansk. The Russians have shelled the border crossing point Krasnotalivka, Luhansk region. They were firing from the settlement Prognoy, Rostov region. After the first artillery shelling at 10 p.m., the Russian drone made a reconnaissance of the district and flew into the territory of Ukraine up to 3 kilometers. After this, the shelling continued, taking into account that this is not the first artillery shelling of this border crossing point, which does not act at the moment. The impression is that the Russian side wants to destroy it altogether. By such actions, the Russians are trying to make our border guards retreat from the border, but the state border service still controls and defends it. Also, artillery blows were made from the Russian Federation in the district of Dmitrivka and in the vicinity of villages Dmitrivka and Pobeda, Luhansk region. The OSCE confirmed the shelling of Ukrainian territory from the side of Russia. They say that during the last week, artillery explosions and firing were heard only in the western and northern directions, and for the first time the monitors detected the shelling of eastern and southern eastern from those districts that border on Ukraine. The terrorists shelled from artillery the positions of armed forces of Ukraine from Alchevsk in the direction of Debaltsovo, and also shelled the residential block Druzhba in Luhansk. Over the last 24 hours, ATO units carried out a number of successful operations, as a result of which over 120 terrorists and Russian military who became lost in our territory were killed. In Mariupol, the press officers of National Guards, through regional and central mass media, explain about the truth about every fake information. Ukraine is honoring its heroes who gave their lives for freedom and independence. In Alexandria, on the territory of the aviation base of National Guards, they opened a memorial plaque to the perished crew of helicopter Mi-8, which on the 29th of May, during the combat action, was downed by the enemy anti-aircraft complex. We shall remember the courage and heroism of Captain Alexander Markienko, who is the only person who survived during this shelling. On the same helicopter and the same day, the Major General of the National Guards, Sergei Kulchitsky, gave his life. And by the 4th of September, according to official data, 837 Ukrainian military were killed and 3,044 wounded. I want to emphasize that this data is based on checked facts, officially confirmed in the established order. The numbers will be detailed after the end of the operation of withdrawal of our guys from Ilovaisk. As soon the situation in the cities of the zone of anti-terrorist operation temporarily controlled by terrorists remains tense. Russian mercenaries and subversive groups continue to ruin the infrastructure of Donbass. They do not stop shelling of Donetsk, Luhansk, and Alchevsk. Yesterday, they also shelled the settlement of Yuvileyny in the suburb of Lugansk, and also Vesela Gora settlement in Sloviano-Serbsk district and Kontirinivka in Krasnodon region. There are losses among the peaceful population, and they mined a car bridge.
As a result of shelling, more than 5,000 consumers are without gas, and there was from artillery shelling, and they shelled from Markina on Kashkarsky and Telmanov. Because of they were shelling at water tower, they stopped water supplies to the city. As a result of lack of chlorium to water providing station, and in Petrivka and in Slovo-Serbsky rayon, they stopped clean drinking water, which is provided to Luhansk, Sloviano-Serbsk, Krasnodar, and to Horodok and Kharkiv. According to operational information in Taraz and Donetsk region, gunmen campaign against local people, and they ask to provide data to issue passports of citizens of Russian Federation. They offer 1,000 hryvnia for a change of citizenship. In addition to destroyment of infrastructure, they spread Russian propaganda on territories that they control. And on the 3rd of September at 2:40 p.m. on TV station of Donetsk, they broadcast 9 Russian TV channels. As a result of shelling by gunmen and without electricity, they cut electricity to retranslation TV station in Torres, and local local people responsible for that. They re-established broadcasting Radio 1 Ukrainian channel. In cities and towns of Luhansk Regional Security Service investigates organized referendums in the May of this year, and with the goal to destroy the territorial integrity of Ukraine. On the 20th of August, they informed Deputy of Belovodsk Rayon Council of Luhansk region that in May 2014 participated in a pseudo-referendum to support so-called ENAR. We would like to remind that according to Article 110 Criminal Code of Ukraine, any action to threaten territorial integrity and of Ukraine, it is there is a sentence, could be a sentence, criminal responsibility for from 3 to 5 years. In Dnipropetrovsk region, SBU stopped illegal activity of 3 deputies of Rayon councils of Dnipropetrovsk, representatives of the Communist Party of Ukraine. In August, they organized anti-Ukrainian activity, and the participants they painted in colors of Georgian band in the Dnipropetrovsk sign, and also the monument to those who died in 1982. During the investigation, the SBU found 2 grenades, RGD 5 explosive devices, and newspaper Novorossiya and handlets Prometei. In Kharkiv, SBU Ukraine, on the 29th of August, they started a criminal case, Part 1, Article 111, state betrayal of Criminal Code of Ukraine against an engineer of state institution that works in the field of radio communication betrayal, who was hired by GRU Russian intelligence. He did undermining activity against Ukraine. He provided data about radio conversations and to Abernos and Strelok, and now he gives evidence. As to international support, today in northern Wales, in Newport, there is a NATO summit, and it is planned that the President Poroshenko will make a statement during the meeting. That meeting I will participate in the meeting of Ukraine NATO committee. The President will begin his participation in the summit with a meet. He will meet Prime Minister of the UK, David Cameron, President Barack Obama, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Prime Minister of Italy Matteo Renzi, and President of France, François Hollande. And it is planned to have a meeting with President of France, Poland, Komorowski, Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Prime Minister of Great Britain, Cameron, Stephen Halper, State Secretary of the U.S. John Kerry, and NATO General Secretary Anders Fogh Rasmussen. U.S. President Barack Obama he told that a political solution for Ukraine conflict is possible if Russia stops supporting a separatist. France they decided not to provide to Russia a Mistral ship. French government cannot provide the first of 2 Mistral because of the last activities of Russia in Ukraine. The President decided that despite of the prospects of ceasefire conditions that would allow to provide the first ship, they were not met, and the press service of French President told that the Parliament of Georgia unanimously passed the resolution on the situation in Ukraine and expressed the support to territorial integrity of Ukraine, and they accuse Russia in open military aggression. A representative of German Chancellor Stefan Jahn told the official Berlin doesn't see reasons to retreat from new sanctions against EU against Russia. Jan Schut told that Slovakia, he is the head of the Chancellor's office, he's ready to support NATO alliance countries and to solve the crisis in Donbass. That's it. Thank you for your attention.